Hey everybody, this is PD coming from the lair right now, and there's been much ado, as Kwame Brown said way back in the days. There's been much ado about nothing, and with that said, he's come at okay. We have to go back to the beginning, the short beginning, and I guess I can just do a quick sort of look at this because it's been gone over by many people many a time on the internet, right? So ultimately, if I share my screen, go to this, you go to this, podcast over here. This is right at the point at what is it, 1:13:31, where Jeannie Buss talks about the trade and mentions Kwame Brown, saying that no, it wasn't just for Marcus, it was also Kwame Brown. And then Matt Barnes smacks Steven Jackson, wakes him up, and he says his comment about this trade. And then that led to Kwame Brown. Please go to Kwame Brown's web, YouTube page. Let's do a quick. Let me get out of this for a second. So I'm really starting off from scratch. But go to Kwame Brown's. Oh man, I'm really blowing it, aren't I? No, that's 11 o'clock. But let's see. Let me just do this for a second. Yeah, here we go. We have his website, his YouTube page. I want to share that for 2 seconds. That you should go to Kwame Brown's Bus Life. You see, I'm subscribed. And so very entertaining and insightful YouTube page. But since after this, I guess after the Gilbert Arenas, they mentioned Kwame again in the All the Smoke podcast. And then, of course, that led Kwame reacting back in kind because they insulted him. So he insulted them. And then they kind of got to put their chest out in their response. Then many other people have chimed in. We've also had, he's also, because Stephen A. Smith was the one who really complained a lot about him over the years since while Kwame was in the NBA and after he was out of the NBA. So of course, Stephen A. had to get it. So Stephen A. got some from Kwame. Who else got it? Then some people chimed in, like Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne the God really got it from Kwame. And then Jamel Hill kind of tried to hint that it is being violent. And of course, I mean, you can't always be like me, where you're like, you listen to the content. You don't worry about the curse words or anything like that. That's the content is important. What was the intent? Not a couple of swear words and then you're like, oh my God, I can't take it. The content is strong. And that's what I want to say to you. But all that said, the point of this video is that Stephen A. Smith finally came back and had something to say about Kwame Brown. And he obviously, I guess maybe to some, it was a strong response back to Kwame, saying like, hey, I'm going to, is this here? Yeah, let's see. That.
Looking to get your best night's sleep at Raymore and Flanagan?
That ain't it. Let me go to my history. But basically, there's a video where Stephen A. Smith finally said something back to Kwame Brown, and he points out, that his actual point. He's saying, "Hey, you weren't very good." That was his video. The drop the mic thing that he did, and I'm going to show you that for 2 seconds. So I don't, necessarily want to get flagged for that. But with that said, let's see. It's right here. If you notice, unlike Kwame Brown's site, I am not subscribed to ESPN, but I do watch from time to time. I can't say I don't, right? But I do watch from time to time. This is to drop the mic. Stephen A. He's going in. Of course, yeah, you have to be smart about it as they are. I have Steven Jackson here, Kwame Brown there in Charlotte. The whole drama set up in this picture. And Stephen A. is doing this thing, of course, right? Stephen A. is pointing out the stuff, and then he points out that obviously that his point has always been that Kwame's been a scrub. He says, I think at the end of the video, he points out what his overall stats were. But this is not the point of the video. Basically, he kind of defends everyone who said an insult about Kwame Brown's career. Now, Jeannie Buss wasn't attacking Kwame Brown. So the idea that Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, who I am a fan of, I'm a fan of both of them. I wish they would just apologize and move on. They're peers. As a peer, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be brothers. You should be able to just apologize. Kwame's only reacting to their insults. So it's like you're not saying there's no reason for him to be brought into that. Gilbert Arenas, I don't know. People don't really look. You don't look at it as in tandem of Gilbert Arenas and Kwame Brown. We know they play together, but there's no real reason to bring it up unless you want to dish dirt, right? And that's what they're doing. That's what Stephen A. is lying and saying that he's not being truthful. So, and then he goes in and defends Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne the God did what Kwame said. He brought up his whole family's past, which was not in any way involved in this. Jamel Hill mentioned violence, all that stuff. So I've gotten through all that. I've gotten Stephen A. is totally false, totally lying on this. It's a shame. It's another thing to say, hey, you know what? Some of my time of going to colleges and speaking about you and, basically making a career on the road talking about you, it's sort of like, if you think of, who is it? You look at Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali, where they back and forth digs, that sort of thing. It's a mutual respect that you give the person at the end of the day. And that's what's kind of lost in what Stephen A. is doing. So, but he does have a video, so I'm going to turn up the audio and I'm going to go through this part where he just sort of plays these part where he's trying to show that oh, come on, the skippable video. This is just not my day. It's totally not my day. But here they're showing us all the stuff, and here's the mistake and this stuff and that. So this is what Stephen A. obviously has been doing. Stephen A. has been spending his time getting all of his assistants to put together a reel of all these bad videos of what of Kwame Brown. But in the end, since I got you on screen, all he's doing is a Shaqtin' a Fool. And we have, since he's going to do that, then I have to turn the sound down off of this and play you some Michael Jordan Shaqtin' a Fool. So the mistakes Michael Jordan made. Hey, here we go, missing the dunk. It happens. So like, is that what we're going to do here? Missing, easy put in, right? What else we got here? We got, 2. Here we go on 2. Let's keep going. This is what it is. This is the trademark of Michael Jordan's career. I'm keeping it basketball. Here we go. Oh, no, he's not going to miss this time. Oh, no, he missed again. It just happened. So, see, that's disingenuous of Stephen A. That's me. I don't want to see me right now. It's frozen. Let me stop that. But anyway, with that said, it's just disingenuous in my, it's disingenuous in my mind for him to play a lowlights reel, because it is just a lowlights reel. It's not saying, you can say his comparison, but this lead up to showing all of the Shaqtin' a Fool stuff, which is just comedy, is BS. And ultimately, as a commentator, you have to think yourself as Howard Cosell, where Muhammad Ali was giving it to Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell was giving it to Muhammad Ali. There was a mutual respect there. And that's what has to happen. You're saying he's not worth your time. You're not going to do that. Then I don't know. Then why are you going? Where are those college things? They have to ask the same question. So ultimately, you should watch Kwame Brown's YouTube page, because he's very funny. He's very insightful. And I looking at some of his older videos, when you have someone with that kind of insight, that's the type of people I think you should go out and become commentators, because they can point out things in the games that you don't see. And then in the same time, we don't want all the people who just decide, you know what, I see what everyone else says. That's just like turning it into like TV news where everyone sort of says the same sort of narrative, right? And I guess that's all. I wanted to say something. I want to chime in. I'm saying my personal views. I did watch the Wizards because at that point I was, Michael Jordan was back, so I was knee deep in watching basketball and seeing what that was like. But I think at the time it was still more Mike Michael Jordan's more his ups and downs more than in my mind Kwame's ups and downs, because we would see when he got when he lost to the Nets, was it the New Jersey Nets, that game Keith Van Horn came out like with 40 points on Jordan, like killing him, right? So it's like, and it wasn't like, oh, Kwame let this happen. It was like Jordan was like, this is the worst game of my career, that sort of thing. So we have to remember that. I think I took more notice of Kwame when he was on the Lakers because I was interested in seeing how Kobe would do without Shaq. So it was an interesting period. We saw them get to I think they got to the playoffs when Phil Jackson. It was also interesting to see Phil Jackson there. So they had a team that was scrappy. They just needed a couple more things. Now, I think ultimately, had he was able to stay with Powell, they probably would have had the same mix as they did with Andrew Bynum, having a like two sort of big man thing to go against the Celtics. So I think it still could have worked. But I wasn't happy to see Kwame go because I wanted to see this team sort of make it. And see Kobe sort of make it, and he ultimately in the end did. And then of course, as team person goes to different teams, I think Charlotte and then the Warriors. And right when the Warriors were kind of trying to get to the next level, he was there for a little while. And I guess you lose track. But at the same time, he's back, and his his YouTube site is blowing up. So I'm just chiming in as a basketball fan. Also, obviously, this is a comic book site, but as a basketball fan and interested in seeing this person that they've talked about so many years, he's come back. He's got a strong insight, and he's clapping back, as they say. Spin Rack is out. It's not out yet,